In the quiet halls of a Dutch museum, visitors admired a serene golden Buddha statue. It sat cross-legged, its painted face calm, eyes half closed, as if lost in deep meditation. For years it was simply a beautiful artifact from China's Song dynasty. Then, experts decided to run it through a CT scanner to check its condition. The images left everyone stunned. Inside the hollow shell was the perfectly preserved body of a real monk, still sitting in the lotus position, his bones aligned exactly with the statue's posture. This wasn't some macabre accident. The monk's presence was deliberate. Researchers believe this was the remains of a respected Buddhist master who, after his passing, was encased in lacquer and clay, then turned into the very statue worshippers would bow to. Hidden within, his presence went unnoticed for almost 1,000 years. Even stranger, inside his torso, scientists discovered scrolls written in ancient Chinese characters. The text identified him as a monk named Liu Quan, belonging to the Chinese meditation school. The discovery wasn't only shocking because of what was found. It also raised questions about how many other statues worldwide might hold similar secrets. Ancient techniques made the statue's surface so flawless that no seams or openings hinted at the hollow core. Conservators noted the craftsmanship was so precise that even X-ray images looked like art. The story went viral, spreading across news outlets and social media. People compared it to scenes from mystery thrillers or adventure films like Indiana Jones, where sacred artifacts hide unbelievable surprises. In this case, though, the twist was real. The statue had traveled across borders and centuries before revealing its secret. Today, the Buddha statue remains one of the most fascinating examples of hidden history in plain sight. It's a reminder that some treasures aren't just buried underground. They're sitting right in front of us, waiting for someone with the right tools and curiosity to look inside. This was no ordinary relic. It was a silent guardian of a person who, in life and death, was inseparable from the faith he served. In a small Spanish town, a restoration project turned a centuries-old church statue into one of the most talked-about discoveries in recent memory. The statue was a depiction of Christ, crafted in the 18th century, standing in a quiet chapel where it had been for generations. Workers were repairing cracks when they decided to remove a section of the statue's wooden robe. What they saw inside made them stop mid-motion. Tucked neatly within the hollow space were two rolled-up pieces of parchment. Carefully unwrapped, the documents revealed themselves to be letters written in 1777 by a local priest. His handwriting, still legible after nearly 2.5 centuries, described details of village life, political gossip, and even the price of common goods like wine and grain at the time. It was like opening a time capsule deliberately placed there for the future. The tone of the letters wasn't solemn or purely religious. They were surprisingly personal, almost like diary entries meant for whoever might one day find them. Historians were thrilled. This wasn't just art, it was history hidden in the most unexpected place. The letters gave clues about the community's struggles, celebrations, and daily routines, painting a vivid picture of an era without photographs or recorded sound. There were mentions of plagues, festivals, and the reign of the Spanish king of that period, all locked away inside the wooden figure for hundreds of years. The most puzzling part? The letters had been intentionally sealed inside the statue's body, suggesting that the sculptor or local clergy wanted to send a message across centuries. It wasn't meant to be seen anytime soon. It was as if the past had been patiently waiting for someone with the right curiosity to cut into the statue and set the words free. When the news broke, people compared it to uncovering a hidden quest item in a video game, a reward for persistence and attention to detail. The statue now holds a special place in the hearts of the town's residents, not just as a religious symbol, but as a storyteller from 240 years ago, whispering tales of a vanished world. High above Boston's historic Old State House, two gilded statues, a lion and a unicorn, had been standing watch for more than a century. They were symbols of Britain's royal coat of arms, perched in place since the early 1900s. In recent years, city officials decided the statues needed restoration. When workers carefully removed the lion, they expected to find only weather damage. Instead, they discovered a small, corroded metal box sealed inside its head. The box was a time capsule, placed there in 1901 when the statues were first mounted. Once it was opened in a conservation lab, the contents transported everyone back to the turn of the 20th century. Inside were neatly folded newspaper clippings, photographs, business cards, and a book about Boston's history. There was also a collection of coins, including a United States silver dollar from 1900 and British pennies, bridging the city's colonial past with its then modern present. Historians believe the capsule was intentionally hidden during the dedication ceremony, meant to be discovered by future generations. The choice of location was clever. Very few people would ever think to look inside a statue perched several stories above the street. In a way, the lion had been silently guarding the city's memories for over 100 years. What made the discovery even more interesting was the state of the items. Despite Boston's harsh winters and humid summers, the objects were remarkably well preserved thanks to the lion's metal shell. Conservators said it was like opening a perfectly wrapped package from a century ago. When the find was announced, Bostonians were captivated. The story sparked renewed interest in the old State House, already one of the oldest public buildings in the United States. Some even joked it felt like something out of a National Treasure movie, with relics hiding in plain sight above the heads of thousands of people who walked past every day. Now, the restored lion still watches over the city, but everyone knows it once carried a secret message from the past in its golden mane. In Colombia, police once seized what looked like an ordinary replica of the FIFA World Cup trophy. It had the same gold color, the same iconic shape, and from a distance, nothing seemed unusual. The trophy was being transported as if it were just a piece of sports memorabilia for a collector. But officers noticed it felt strangely heavy for its size, and that small detail made them suspicious. When they drilled into the base, the truth came out. The inside was filled with a mysterious white powdery material, packed tightly into every hollow space. Tests later confirmed it was an illegal substance, hidden inside one of the most recognizable sports symbols in the world. The smugglers had even adjusted the weight so the trophy would feel authentic when lifted. The boldest part was the choice of object. The World Cup is one of the most famous trophies on the planet, seen by billions of people during tournaments. It's the kind of item that instantly catches attention, yet these traffickers gambled that its familiarity would make it look harmless. In reality, it was like hiding a secret inside a giant golden spotlight. Investigators noted the craftsmanship of the fake was surprisingly convincing, though under close inspection, the surface texture wasn't quite perfect and the gold tone looked slightly off. Without the unusual weight, it might have passed undetected. Today, the replica is kept as a reminder of how even the most celebrated symbols in sports can conceal unexpected secrets. It's a strange meeting of two worlds, the excitement of global football and the quiet game of deception, all wrapped in a trophy that could easily have been mistaken for the real thing. In a historic Spanish church, restorers were examining a centuries-old statue of Christ when they decided to run an X-ray scan to check for structural damage. What the images revealed shocked everyone. Inside the hollow head were actual human teeth embedded where the statue's own teeth would be. The statue, crafted in the 18th century, was already known for its lifelike detail, but no one suspected that real human remains had been used to enhance its realism. Historians believe the teeth likely belonged to devout believers or even clergy, placed there intentionally as relics to give the figure a deeper spiritual significance. This wasn't just decoration, it was a fusion of art and devotion that blurred the line between sculpture and sacred relic. Up close, the craftsmanship was stunning. The sculptor had built the head around a wooden core, leaving just enough space to set the teeth in precisely. Over time, the exterior was painted with incredible realism, down to the fine lines, facial hair, and droplets of painted blood. Without modern scanning, no one would ever have guessed what lay beneath the surface. The discovery stirred worldwide curiosity. For locals, it added a new dimension to something they'd seen all their lives. For visitors, it turned an already striking religious figure into one of the most unusual artifacts in Europe. Museum experts noted that using real body parts in statues wasn't unheard of in past centuries, especially when meant to inspire awe and reverence. But finding them perfectly preserved after hundreds of years was rare. Now, the statue stands not only as a piece of religious art, but as a reminder that history often hides its secrets in the most unexpected ways, sometimes right behind a painted smile. In eastern China, workers tasked with restoring a centuries-old Buddhist statue got far more than they expected. The statue, which had been displayed in a local temple for generations, was due for a careful cleaning and structural repair. As artisans began disassembling its base, a loose panel shifted, revealing a dark, hidden compartment inside. When they reached in, their hands brushed against stacks of folded paper and small cloth bundles. Inside were hundreds of ancient Chinese banknotes and coins, some dating back to the early Ming dynasty. The paper notes were remarkably well preserved, protected from humidity by the sealed wooden chamber. Some featured detailed illustrations of dragons and calligraphy declaring their official value, making them as much works of art as currency. The coins, strung together with cord, bore the square holes typical of the era and still carried the green patina of age. Historians believe the money had been hidden there intentionally, possibly as a temple fund or a donation meant to be safeguarded. Placing wealth inside statues wasn't just about storage in some traditions, it was also seen as a way to symbolically feed the spirit represented by the figure, ensuring prosperity for the community. What made this find even more intriguing was the sheer amount. While the value in modern terms might not be enormous, the quantity suggested significant offerings from devotees over many years. The hidden hoard had quietly traveled through dynasties, wars, and social upheaval, all without leaving its secret sanctuary. Today, the recovered notes and coins are kept in a controlled environment to prevent deterioration, while the statue itself has returned to its temple. For those who see it now, the figure isn't just a religious icon, it's also a silent guardian of a treasure that lay untouched for centuries, waiting for the day it would finally see the light again. In China's Wutai mountain region, a restoration team working on a centuries-old statue of the Bodhisattva Manjushri stumbled upon a discovery that, honestly, just left archaeologists in awe. The statue, a revered figure in Buddhist tradition, had been standing in a temple for hundreds of years. While repairing cracks in its wooden body, experts noticed an unusual hollow sound when they gently tapped on certain areas. Curious, they carefully opened the statue's torso and, to their amazement, found it packed with hidden treasures. Inside were 180 separate artifacts, each meticulously placed and preserved. These included delicate scrolls written on silk and paper, tiny Buddha figurines carved from wood and jade, incense sticks, miniature pagoda models, and ceremonial robes. Many of the items were wrapped in protective cloth and stacked in precise layers, as if arranged in a ritual sequence. The variety was staggering. Some scrolls contained Buddhist sutras and beautiful calligraphy, their ink still dark and sharp despite centuries of age. Others held prayers written by temple devotees, offering a glimpse into the spiritual life of the community from generations ago. The miniature statues, no larger than a person's thumb, were carved with astonishing detail. Even their facial expressions were visible. Experts believe the objects were placed there during the statue's original construction as sacred offerings, transforming it into more than just a representation of the Bodhisattva. It became a spiritual vessel. This practice, while rare, was meant to energize the statue with blessings and protection. The find caused excitement far beyond the temple walls. Scholars called it one of the most important Buddhist relic discoveries in recent decades, not only for its scale but also for its preservation. For locals, the statue now carries even more meaning, knowing it held a secret collection of devotion and artistry for centuries, hidden from the world until the careful hands of restorers revealed it once again. The famous bust of Queen Nefertiti has been admired for over a century, displayed under glass in Berlin as one of ancient Egypt's greatest treasures. Its tall, elegant crown has always been a symbol of royal beauty, but modern imaging revealed something no one expected. A scan of the statue showed a hidden object lodged deep inside the crown, a glass bottle. The bottle, invisible to the naked eye, seems out of place in an artifact over 3,000 years old. Experts are still debating whether it was part of an ancient ritual deposit, a later addition during restoration, or even a modern prank by someone who once had access to the piece. Whatever its origin, the discovery proves that even the most studied artifacts can hold secrets, and that Nefertiti, the queen who defined beauty for millennia, may still be guarding a mystery above her brow. In Verona, Italy, the city forever linked to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, thousands of visitors flock each year to see the bronze statue of Juliet in the courtyard beneath the famous balcony. Over the years, tourists would touch the statue for good luck in love, but honestly, few realized it was guarding a romantic secret of its own. During a restoration project, workers removed the statue from its pedestal and noticed a small opening in the base. Inside, they found an assortment of items left by visitors, dozens of keys, folded scraps of paper, and envelopes sealed with tape. When opened, the papers revealed heartfelt love letters written in multiple languages, confessions, promises, and wishes from strangers who had traveled from all over the world. Some were addressed to Juliet herself, as if the statue could somehow carry their words to the spirit of the character. The keys were equally intriguing. Many were from padlocks that couples had fastened to fences or gates in the city, a tradition symbolizing eternal love. By hiding the keys inside the statue, people were adding an extra layer of secrecy to their romantic gestures, almost like sealing their love inside Juliet's heart. Conservators were amazed at how much had accumulated over time, especially since there was no official slot or compartment meant for storing anything. Visitors had simply found tiny gaps and made use of them, turning the statue into a time capsule of love stories. When the discovery became public, it made headlines around the world. It wasn't just about the fictional romance of Romeo and Juliet anymore. The statue had become a silent witness to real-life romances, heartbreaks, and hopes. Now, every visitor who walks into that courtyard knows that somewhere inside that bronze figure once rested pieces of hundreds of personal love stories, locked away in Verona's most famous symbol of passion. In China's Shanxi province, the terracotta army stands as one of the most impressive archaeological finds in history. Thousands of life-sized clay soldiers guard the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Each one is unique, from facial expressions to armor details. Yet among these warriors, one figure stunned researchers when modern imaging revealed it was hiding an extraordinary secret, an ancient crossbow mechanism concealed within its clay body. The discovery happened during a careful examination of a partially damaged warrior. Restorers noticed a strange metallic shape inside the torso that didn't match the usual support structures. When they gently removed sections of the clay, they found a remarkably well-preserved bronze trigger mechanism, the kind used in Kinnera crossbows over 2,000 years ago. The metal still bore engravings and showed signs of fine craftsmanship, with precision engineering that rivaled weapons from much later periods. Experts believe the crossbow was once fully functional, but its wooden components had long since decayed. The remaining bronze parts, however, had survived in excellent condition, protected by the sealed clay shell. The warrior's pose, arms positioned as if ready to fire, suddenly made perfect sense. This wasn't just a symbolic statue. It had been equipped to appear as a fully armed soldier in every detail, right down to the hidden weaponry. The find sparked fresh debate among historians about the emperor's vision for his afterlife army. Was the inclusion of actual weapons meant purely for realism, or was there a belief that these soldiers could somehow defend him in the next world? The craftsmanship suggested these weren't decorative props, but real military gear. For visitors to the museum today, the warrior stands as a reminder that the terracotta army is more than just an artistic masterpiece. It's also a technological marvel. Hidden beneath layers of clay, it preserved a piece of ancient military engineering that lay untouched for millennia, waiting for modern hands to uncover it. Deep in the jungles of Guatemala, archaeologists excavating a ruined Mayan temple uncovered a stone statue unlike any they had seen before. Carved with intricate patterns and the fierce face of a deity, it stood as a silent guardian at the temple's entrance. While it was heavy and solid to the touch, a faint hollow sound hinted there might be something hidden within. Carefully, researchers examined the statue using ground-penetrating tools. The scans revealed several small objects sealed inside its core. When they finally opened a concealed chamber in the statue's back, they found a cluster of exquisite jade amulets, each wrapped in fragments of woven cloth that had survived against all odds. The amulets were stunning, polished to a mirror-like shine, carved with symbols representing fertility, protection, and cosmic balance. Some were shaped like miniature masks, others like sacred animals. Jade held immense significance for the Maya, symbolizing life, power, and even a connection to the gods. The placement of these amulets inside the statue suggested they were offerings meant to activate the spirit of the deity it depicted. What amazed the team was the craftsmanship. Despite being over 1,000 years old, the carvings were crisp, and the deep green stone still shimmered in the light. Chemical analysis showed the jade had been sourced from quarries hundreds of miles away, meaning the pieces had traveled long distances before finding their resting place inside the statue. The find confirmed long-held theories that Mayan statues were not just decorative or symbolic. They were sacred containers, holding gifts to the gods within their stone hearts. The fact that these amulets stayed hidden for centuries, surviving earthquakes, jungle overgrowth, and looters, made their discovery feel like unearthing a message from a civilization that continues to fascinate the world. In Bangkok's Wat Tramet Temple stands one of the most breathtaking sights in the Buddhist world, the Phra Phutta Maha Swan Patimakon, better known as the Golden Buddha. This statue weighs over 5 tons and is made entirely of solid gold. Yet for centuries, no one knew it was gold at all. Its true nature stayed hidden under a thick layer of dull plaster and stucco. The statue had been moved several times over the centuries, eventually ending up in a modest temple building. In the mid-20th century, during yet another relocation, workers accidentally dropped it. The plaster cracked, revealing a gleaming surface beneath. As more pieces fell away, the workers realized they weren't looking at ordinary metal. They were staring at pure gold. Historians believe the statue was covered centuries earlier to protect it from invading forces, disguising it as a simple, low-value figure. Over time, the knowledge of what lay beneath was lost, and generations saw it only as an unremarkable plaster Buddha. The layer was so convincing that even close inspection revealed nothing unusual, until that fateful accident exposed its brilliance. Once fully revealed, experts marveled at its craftsmanship. The statue's golden surface was intricately detailed, with smooth curves, delicate facial features, and a serene expression that seemed to glow in the temple's light. Measuring over 15 feet tall, it is believed to be the largest solid gold statue in the world. The story spread quickly, captivating people worldwide. It was like something out of a treasure-hunting adventure film, a priceless artifact hiding in plain sight for centuries, protected by a disguise. Today, the Golden Buddha draws visitors from every corner of the globe, standing as proof that sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden behind the most ordinary appearances. That's about it. Which find shocked you the most? Write in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.